morning, everybody. Happy Monday. What's up, Tiff?
I want to go back to those Segway days from the Open.
Yeah. I know that was so long ago. I think I would prefer not to, though, because I crashed mine.
Yeah, you did. That was one of my favorite visuals I've ever seen. Not because you did get hurt. It was not funny, but it was funny because you spun in an actual circle on the Segway just like they do in movies as a joke.
Yeah, it was scary. It was.
And because you're okay now, it's funny in hindsight.
Then it's okay to laugh. That's right.
Yeah. It's true. You know, yesterday was National Daughters Day. I think a lot of people who were on social media saw people posting pictures, or maybe you did. I thought it was kind of funny because my mom, texts me and she's like, "Happy National Daughters Day. You're the best daughter ever." I'm like, "I'm your only daughter."
I know. Same with me. Both you and I grew up with two brothers, which I think is always an interesting part of our stories. But now it's National Sons Day. So people were posting about their daughters. Now it's about their sons. And it got me thinking about a conversation I had last week with Dr. Duffy about having meaningful conversations with boys. Because when kids are really young, I think about when my son was really young, and it was like in church, he'd draw pictures of us and say, "Oh, I love you so much." And then as they get to be teenagers and he's almost 18, it's
oh, look at him there, so little.
I think that was a church play. I'm sure I did not ask him if I could use this picture.
Well, I'm sure he'll be real happy at that one.
Right, exactly. But on my birthday this year, he said, "Well, what do you want for your birthday?" And I said, "Really, all I'd like to do is spend time with you." And I said, "Just anything." And he's like, "Well, how about a bike ride?" Because it was nice. It was a nice day in June.
Aww.
And what I was thinking about, because it's hard sometimes to make a connection and nobody is perfect, but I think if you spend time doing things that they love, even if you're not good at it, and it sounds so basic, but I'll just go and shoot hoops with them sometimes. I'm not great. We don't, it's not like a one-on-one.
You're not dunking?
There's no competition. I threaten all the time that I'm going to learn to play his video games. He's like, "No, that's okay." But I think it's meaningful just to do things that they like to do, even if you just kind of give it a try.
Well, it's kind of that whole meeting them where they're at, and if you take that into any relationship in your life. And, I think that's such an important thing, is meeting people where they're at, doing what they love with them too, because obviously that shows how much you care.
Yeah. And I got some really good advice, Tiff, from a friend of mine that I thought
Was
about.
It me?
You are the best parenting expert I know. I will say that. But this is from a friend, and I've thought about it a lot since he's been a teenager, because what she said is that, everybody, when you ask your child to do something, especially if it's a chore, you expect them to drop what they're doing and do it right away. Or like if he's playing video games and it's time for dinner, I try to give him a little heads up, like, "Hey, when you're done with that game, let's go ahead and eat." Or, "Hey, when you finish with that homework, can you take out the trash?" Those kinds of things. It shows so much respect. And she said, give your kids a minute. She said, never expect things to just happen like that, because they can then complete what they're doing. It shows respect and move on to a task, just like we're not expected to jump when somebody asks us to do something. And so if you treat your kids with the same respect, a lot of times you'll get that back. Now, sometimes they forget to do it, because then I'm like, "You didn't take out the trash."
Just like your spouse.
Right.
Same thing. I mean, yeah, just like you said, I think all of these things transfer to anyone in your life. I mean, you're not going to just expect someone to drop what they're doing to do something for you. And oftentimes when you do, it gets you in trouble in a relationship, whether that's a parent, a child, a spouse, a friend. I mean, that respect should be always, I think, extended.
Absolutely. I think so too. A roommate. So it was interesting because I looked up a statistic, because it was National Sons Day. And it said there was a percentage of parents who prefer to have a son first, and it was 40%. 32% don't care either way. But there was something interesting about the Me Too movement, because it's National Sons Day. And it basically said it's taken on new meaning, and no longer can we ignore or overlook the importance of raising our boys with this in mind. And I thought that was really kind of a cool but important thing to think about.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I always thought, if I were to have kids, I'd want boy, girl, boy. And I always thought, because I would want a girl to have an older brother like I did. I liked having older brothers. And there's something that just feels so good about that. I think, girls are strong enough and empowered on their own. They don't need an older brother. But I like the idea of that, I would think, as having older brothers myself.
Me too. I totally
I
get
liked it when they were like, "You're not wearing that swimsuit to the beach. Go put some clothes on."
Yeah, they tend to keep us in line, right?
Yeah, they do. They keep you humble, that's for sure. You think you look good? No, you look like you got a zit on your face.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they have like they're good at delivering the truth serum, right? They'll be honest
Yes.
with us, that's for sure.
I remember one time I was feeling really good with tanner. I just got to tell you this. I had like really great tanner on. My brother's like, "Are you supposed to like have white ears and white on the back of your neck?" Like, what? And I was like, like they're the only ones that would have told me.
Right? See, they're good for something. It's a good sound off question, though. We put this on Facebook today. We want to know what you think. What's one thing all young boys should be taught? Tell us what you think. We'll talk about it later in the show.